Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, there's a lot to break down. There's a lot to talk about. The plant situation in Canelo. But before I do that, guys, I want to speak about something. I want to speak about a YouTuber. And that YouTuber's name is Boxing with Addy. I gotta give massive respect to this guy. Addy is a YouTuber. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you do, because he's a very good boxing YouTuber. He's got a job with DAZN, and I saw a picture a Tony Bellew put up on his Insta, and actually Addy put up on his own YouTube channel. And I think everyone that's followed Addy from the start, and I initially used to watch all the other UK YouTubers, and Addy was somebody that came onto the scene like around 2018, especially, but I know he had another channel prior, which I didn't really know about, to be honest with you. I didn't really know about his previous channel. But the new channel that he had, Boxing with Addy, now he's changed it to Addy Oladipo. I've been watching that since the start, and I think he's a breath of fresh air in terms of the way he delivers his boxing content, how non-biased he is. And he's almost an inspiration to a lot of YouTubers that are looking to succeed, you know, in television even, that have an ambition of making it as a, you know, presenter, wherever. He's an inspiration, what he's done, you know, and he hasn't always had it easy. He tells us about his journey and how he's got to where he's got to, and he's not always had it easy, you know. And credit to him, because I think he deserves everything he gets, and I think he deserves everything because, like I said, he's so non-biased, and he's just brilliant. He's just brilliant. And the reason why I started watching Boxing with Addy, probably more than any other UK YouTuber, was because of the way he used to speak about Amir Khan. And the reason why I bring this up is Amir Khan is quite disrespected by a lot of YouTubers. You know, he doesn't get a lot of respect. They discredit him, don't give him the respect he deserves for his achievements. Whereas Addy actually gives him the credit that he deserves. And he calls him out when Khan, you know, doesn't fight Brook, or he called him out over the years as well, but he gave him a lot of respect and gave him the credit for his career. And that's why I realized that this guy is not a guy that just follows the grain. He says what he feels. And that's what was great about, and is great about, Addy. And that's why I feel so happy for him that he's got to the level that he's got to and achieved the success that he has, because he deserves it. He deserves it. And like I said, he's an inspiration to a lot of YouTubers. That this is a guy that from YouTube managed to get a career in television, and he deserves it. He's brilliant. And he's not even like, I've seen some of his work that he does. Initially, I feel like he wanted to get into boxing, but then he got into, I think he did work for boxing in Africa, I believe. And then he came to UK, got a job for Sky Sports doing football. It wasn't boxing, but he got his way in there doing football on Sky Sports, got a gig on Sky Sports. Then he got a gig on TalkSport. Then he got his own show on TalkSport, and it was mainly doing football. I remember him doing his interview with Anthony Joshua on Sky Sports, and he was really excited about that. But now look, he's got a job for DAZN within boxing, something that I think he probably always wanted to do and always wanted to get into. Initially got into football, but he did it and did it great. I've seen some of his stuff as well. He's really good. And he deserves his success, man. He deserves his success. And the reason why I think he deserves everything, because he doesn't push any agendas. He says it how it is. And we need more people like him that say it how it is. I don't know for sure, but I think Addy is probably in his late 30s or middle 30s. But I listen to him and I respect it. And to be honest, I watch all his videos now because I feel like he's got my attention. I enjoy listening to him. He's non-biased. He doesn't push any agenda. Like I just said to you, that I'm a massive Amir Khan fan. Amir Khan was an inspiration to me. And when I listen to Ade, he gives him the respect he deserves. And not a lot of YouTubers in boxing give him that respect. That's because Ade is not pushing any agenda. He's saying it how it is. And he's giving people credit that deserve credit. And that's what I like about Ade. And that's why I love listening to him. So just a little shout out to, Ade, and getting his job with DAZN. Happy for him, man. Really happy for him. Really, really happy. And he deserves it, to be honest with you. He deserves everything he gets, and everything he gets on. I hope he achieves even greater. He gets even, achieves greater success than what he's already got. Because, like I said, he's brilliant at what he does, and he deserves it, man. But yeah, shout out to Ade. But yeah, let's get on to this Canelo Plant talk. Canelo Plant, mate. Caleb Plant has come out and said a few things that it's not about the money, it's about other things. Caleb Plant mentioned that, if Canelo gets injured, Caleb Plant has to wait for him. But if Caleb Plant gets injured, Canelo gets a replacement. And Caleb Plant just doesn't like the demand. So the negotiations have broke down. There's other things as well. I don't quite understand. Understand because Canelo was set to earn $40 million. And Caleb Plant was set to earn $10 million. And Caleb Plant said it's not about the legacy. It's not about the money. It's about... I think basically what he was trying to say, it's about control and power, which it is, because it's always a tricky one. Here's the thing, I'll tell you why. Canelo's the A side in this fight, but he's not the one that's sending out the offer. PBC and Plant are, or PBC are. So it's a difficult one because normally the A side are the one that send out the offer. Whereas in this situation, Canelo's the one that's receiving the offer. So when Canelo and DAZN are sending out offer, I'm pretty sure Canelo is involved in that discussion. He's not involved here. He's just getting a contract from PBC, and then he's probably sending it back to them with the amendments and what he feels is right for him. So it's a difficult negotiation. I think it's going to be difficult. Hopefully it gets over the line. Maybe it's a ploy from one of the sides in order to get the fight done quicker and get over the line. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 24, 48 hours we hear that the negotiations have got back, and the fight's are nearly done, because I don't know how a fight can get so close and then the rug just gets pulled under your feet. I just doesn't add up to me. Just doesn't add up. And the reasons that are being given are, I can't imagine Canelo Alvarez not wanting that fight because of the reasons that are being talked about. Why would I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense. So until Canelo Alvarez's team comes out and gives their side of the story, because at the minute we haven't really heard their side of the story, we've just heard Plant's side of the story in a statement. So we don't really know what Canelo's side of the story is. So I'm really intrigued to see what Canelo and his team have to say about this. I hope this fight does happen, because it's not good for boxing, to be honest with you. We need these type of fights to happen. It's a legacy fight. It's a legacy fight for Canelo. Even though Canelo's a massive favorite and most people think he's going to win, the fact of the matter is, it's Canelo wants to create history. And by becoming the first Mexican undisputed champion, he creates history, which no Mexican fighter has been able to do to this point. No Mexican fighter has become undisputed. Canelo is on the verge. So I just don't see, for the reasons that are being mentioned, that Canelo would let it go. I don't know. We don't know, because we don't know the ins and outs. When you're the A side and you're as big a cash cow and a bigger star as Canelo, it becomes about control and wanting to dictate everything. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. But I think Canelo really wants to become undisputed. I think Canelo's all about legacy. I know Plant said that, Canelo, it's not about legacy. It's not about money. It is about legacy for Canelo. It is about legacy. Of course it is. That's why he's fought 2 champions in the space of 9 months, and he wants to fight a third in the space of 10 months. Or, well, not even in 9 months, because he fought Callum Smith in December, fought Billy Joe. So in 5 months, he had 3 fights. 2 of them were undefeated world champions. And in 9-10 months, he wants to fight 3 to clean out a whole division. When do you see that in boxing? When do you see a division being cleaned out? 3 undefeated former world champions. Or what? Not even former world champions. They're 3 undefeated world champions. I don't know why I said former. They're undefeated world champions, and he's looking to clean them out. Or he's cleaned 2 of them out. He's looking to clean the 3rd one out. Now, this is what really frustrates me and really annoys me. And this is what I mean when I say pushing an agenda. There's certain people that will come out and say, well, Canelo's ducking Caleb Plant. He's scared to fight Caleb Plant because he knows the reason why he's making these demands is because of the fact he knows Caleb Plant is a threat. I just don't see it that way. Canelo Alvarez has got one of the best resumes in boxing. You can't sit here and tell me that he's afraid of Caleb Plant, who's a guy who isn't proven yet. Caleb Plant will be going into the fight with Canelo, a huge underdog. When you get to Canelo's level, right, you're not afraid of anyone. He's fought the best. He's got so much experience. I just don't see Canelo want to duck. Why would Canelo want to duck Caleb Plant? Like I said, we need to let Canelo his team come out with their side of the story before we start making, assumptions onto what it is. And like at the minute, looking what Plant has said and what's been reported, it doesn't look good for Canelo. It's not a good look for Canelo. But we haven't heard Canelo's side of the story. There's always 2 sides of the story. And when we hear Caleb Plant's side of the story, of course, he's going to say something which is favorable to him. And when Canelo comes out and gives his side of the story, then that's going to be favorable to him. I just don't see why Caleb Plant wouldn't want to sign that contract and take the fight on Canelo's terms anyway. Because I just don't see either of them wanting this fight to fall through, because Caleb Plant is going to make a shed load of money. And Canelo Alvarez is going to he was set to earn his career highest payday. So I don't really understand what the issue is here. I initially said the reason why I don't think the fight's going to happen is because I think PBC might not want to guarantee a huge purse for both guys, 10 million, that's 50 million. And they don't know whether because in order for the PBC platform to work, they need to do huge pay-per-view numbers because they have a different setup to DAZN. DAZN's a subscription-based platform, whereas Fox are a pay-per-view based platform. So they'll need Canelo and Plant to do a huge number of pay-per-views for it to make sense for them financially. And if it doesn't do well, then they're in a huge loss. That's why they probably wanted to sign Canelo 3 fights. So they have that security because they know that over 3 fights, Canelo will make them profits because of he's a cash cow, he's biggest star in the sport. And he has a huge fan base, huge Mexican fan base. And not just Mexican, but all over the America now. He's a huge star, he's an American star. So this is why I think they want to sign him to 3-fight deal. But Canelo, like I said, the reason why he broke away from DAZN is because he wants to be free. He wants to make the fights he wants to make. So he wants to be able to make a deal with ESPN. He wants to be able to make a deal with Fox. He wants to make a deal with DAZN. But it's not as easy as Canelo's probably found out now. It's not as easy because you can't get everything that you want because you're not exclusive to that platform. Because Fox know that they want to get the best deal possible for them where they make huge profits. Now, according to the reports, it's not about money. So it's not even about Fox not willing to pay the amount of money Canelo wants. It's nothing to do with that. So I don't know what it is until we hear Canelo's side of the story. We've heard Plant's side of the story, and the reasons that Plant gave, I just don't see how there are reasons that would derail a fight of this magnitude. Is it really come down to ego that much that something like that? And listen, Eddie Hearn has gone into the business side of things before, and he's mentioned that, you know, small things can stop a fight from happening. That's things that us fans think is bizarre. Like, we're thinking the stuff that Plant has said is bizarre. Why would that stop a fight? But egos, fighters have egos, and Canelo's in such a great position financially. He doesn't really care. And whereas Plant probably does care, because Plant, he's not in as great a position financially. Must have made decent money, but not come anywhere near Canelo money. And obviously this would be his highest payday by a country mile, probably times by 12, times by 10, times by 10, times by 12, whatever. But it'd be his highest career payday by a mile. Whereas Canelo, he's going to make a huge payday no matter where he fights or who he fights, because it's Canelo. This is why I hope this fight happens. I hope they, you know, bump their heads and make the fight happen. Otherwise, it's going to be very disappointing. Very, very disappointing to us boxing fans if this fight doesn't happen and this fight falls through and they don't make it. Because like I said, I was really looking forward to this fight being done, being signed, sealed within the next couple of days, actually by the end of this week. And, you know, looking forward to Joshua, Usyk, Fury, Wilder, Pacquiao, Spence. We had real crackers. So I'm not worried about Canelo, because I know Canelo will fight somebody very good in September. If it's not Plant, he'll probably fight Bivol or Beterbiev, which are probably seen as more dangerous and even better fights to most of the boxing fans. So Canelo will give us a great fight in September, but I just think this fight means a lot for his legacy, becoming undisputed. And a lot of people seem to think that Canelo beat Billy Joe and Callum Smith, but they're European fighters, they're not that great, this, that, and the other. People have that kind of opinion, so let him fight one of their American fighters. And like I said, I don't personally think Canelo is... I think it comes down to power. He believes he's the A-side. He believes he calls the shots. So that's probably the reason why that these things are difficult to do. Even though he's a free agent, I'm pretty sure it's not easy to do deals, because remember, Caleb Plant is Fox's champion. But when you hear the reasons why the negotiations broke down, there's no clear negotiations. There's no clear reason to why a fight of this magnitude will break down for reasons like that. But again, like I just said to you earlier, Eddie Hearn has mentioned prior that sometimes fights can break down over small little details that you wouldn't even think the fight will break down for. You know, sometimes the guy wants to walk out second and the fight breaks down for that. Now we looking at that thinking, what? That's bizarre that but fighters have egos. Especially when you're rich like Canelo and you're, you know, as big as he is in the world of boxing. It's not always easy to make fights. But hopefully, for the sake of boxing, we get to see it, because we'll have an undisputed champion. Whether Plant wins or whether Canelo wins, we'll have an undisputed champion. And that's what we need in boxing. We need undisputed world champions. We need guys to become undisputed. We need guys that hold all the belts, so we can wake up in the morning and say the super middleweight champion of the world is Canelo Alvarez, not Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant, or not Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, or Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, or Jamel Charlo and Brian Castano. We want to know who the champion of the world is. We want to know who the champion in each weight class is, not Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. We want to know who the best in the heavyweight division is. We want to know the best in every division is. And until the champions fight each other, we'll never get that. We'll never ever get that. And this is why it's so important that the governing bodies find a way, and we spoke about this on the live stream, find a way to get these guys to unify, to fight each other. Champions fight champions. Hopefully, these are things that can be sorted out in boxing. But yeah, leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this situation. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this fight's going to get over the line, or do you think it's going to go down the wayside and Canelo's going to fight somebody else, Plant's going to fight somebody else? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.